Hey guys, forgive the background noise. The kids are home for one more week, and so we've got school coming up next week. But I do have a little bit of progress to show. One that's not quite done is this group of guys here. It's 22 handgunners, I believe, along with 3 crew for the Hellblaster volley gun, which itself is nearly done. I can pick out some more details on it and probably add some smoke to it. The wood grain on this, and also on something else that I'll show in a second, it turned out really well. All I did was go over the pieces with a rocky sand and then use snakebite leather contrast paint over it, and that turned into a wonderful leather, well, not leather, but wood grain. But I feel that the metal here is very monochrome and could use at least some darkening, maybe a decent wash or something to pick it out. I thought about going through here and picking out the bands in a different metal, like say brass or bronze or gold. But that'll be, we'll see how lazy I feel. This has been through one battle and it's done okay. It hasn't really managed too much on the battlefield. But I feel if I had a second one, or actually if I could get a Hellblaster rocket rocket volley, that would do a little bit better. But these guys are some old plastic sculpts, and they're not completely done. I need to go back through and highlight all the yellow. Probably wouldn't hurt to highlight the green of the breeches, and then wash all the leather bits in something to pick out the detail. And then also wash the beards with a little bit of chestnut oil. But overall, they're not too bad. I've got to pick out the feathers in a light gray or white, and I may go over them with contrast paints like I did with the other feathers on the swordsman and halberdier. As you can hear the kids downstairs, they're hooting and hollering pretty good. But there's a bunch of these guys. Some of these sculpts, like this sculpt, isn't really that bad. I mean, if you look under the arm, you see that. If you look right here, I mean, the gun and the face are all molded together, and so that's really not ideal. Let's see, like this guy. I mean, his neck, it's just an awkward thing, and to paint, they're all almost monopose. These guys all had a gun that's glued into the hand, and everybody else is, single piece miniature. And so for that, thinking of that level of tech, that actually is not too bad. I think this guy had the hands are glued on too. But again, these all came to me assembled in a second-hand Empire army. And so, I've been digging through those. Unlike on this guy, you can see I finally went around and picked a base rim color for this, and put it on here, put it on the Hellblaster volley gun, and a couple of other guys before the little sample that I put out dried up. But now I have to go back through and do all the other 60-odd infantry, along with whose remainder on this. And then the other models I finished up. One that I finished and that I will never build again is a old metal steam tank. And this turned out really well. I liked the way this one finished up. I still need to do the base rim for this one and put some flocking through here to make it a little more interesting on the base, so it doesn't look like he's just going over the dry brush desert. But this thing weighs at least 3 or 4 pounds of white metal, and you hear those crazy kids just like their daddy, nuts and loud. But again, here you can see this is where I tried the wood grain first, and it looks really nice. I mean, it looks like a nice used wood or aged wood. It doesn't look like it's not too dark, it's not too bright, like a nice like birch planks or cedar planks in Minecraft if you play that. But there was a lot to do with this one. There's still little gaps in here that I just, after putting it together and doing a lot of filling, I was like, you know what, it is not worth the effort for me to go back and do this. I mean, this, like, the front part was a little shifted. There's actually this front banner is mostly green stuff because I had to build it up along the edges. If you look through here, you can see the cracks between the different pieces, because I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the back is 5, and the tub here is top and bottom half, and then this, and then you've got 1, 2, 3. There were 4, 5. There's like a dozen pieces overall for this, and they all, you know, super glue is not strong enough to hold on to the big metal pieces, so you know, it's all epoxy welded together with, you know, JB weld and double fluff. And so, you know, I think I showed this in the last one. Due to gravitational pull, the as this dried overnight, the smokestack shifted to the right, and I'm not about to try to go back and break the epoxy weld that I put in there, just because it would tear the tank up. So I do have a plastic one on order. It's been on order since January, and GW is just they're going kind of slow, because they're having to obey all the COVID lockdown rules. But this guy turned out pretty well. You know, he was still bare metal when I did the January review, so that's not bad. You can see. Let's see. Let's move these guys. You know, like this guy hasn't even gotten, the long rifleman hasn't even gotten all his base coats on, but I primed him black and I primed everybody else gray, so I have to do other stuff with him. And the big model that I got done that I'm most proud of is I finished Karl Franz on the Gryphon, along with his other guy. And so you can just pop this guy into the seat back here, and there you've got the Empire General on a Gryphon with the big chunky hammer. This was a fun model. I did end up going over the whole thing with either snakebite leather or Gorgrunta fur or something. I went over it with a brown ink, basically, the contrast. And so that does well for this model, and I don't have to go wandering around with my old Bretonian king on the wrong size base anymore. But I'm gonna pull him off and put him to the side, and then put in the other general, where he can have either his, you can see the reins keep breaking just because they get touched by the hands. He can either be with the lance, or I can rip his arm off and put in the old rune sword. Now I went for a Lazy Man's OSL on this, which is just the blue contrast, like Gulliman blue, and then I did used to be called ice blue, but I can't remember what it is. Arctic blue over the runes. And so what I really just need to come back and fix that up, make it look a little better. But part of me is like, I CBA. So, but yeah, this was fun. The chess piece selection was interesting, you know, because there's 3 different pieces you can select. You can even go with the double-headed Gryphon if you're going to have a I hear my kids talking about betta fish or beta fish. But you know, I did a little bit of decoration on the base. That's some wheels from an old Empire cannon, skulls from the skull pack, and just, you know, grass tufts. You know, it looks like, you know, I put these skulls here, not thinking about how it looks like he's just pooped out a bunch of digested heads. But you know, whatever. I'll keep it. But you know, this was a fun model to build and paint, and it's a really good and effective model on the field, especially when he rolls more than ones on his attacks. But holy cow, those kids are just insane. But anyway, I'm going to review this before I post it up to see how it works. But you know, that's what I got done in February. 2 big models finished, a 3rd one nearly done with its crew. And you know, 20 odd guys heavily painted on, and it's not bad. Next week the kids, like I said, the kids go back to full-time schooling, so I won't have this cacophony going on behind me as I paint or I do other things. May see some headway on Indomitus. I do know that I'm going to work on, oh man, she's 3, and you wouldn't think she'd make so much noise. But I want to painting the Halloween Satan from Kingdom Death Minis with her pumpkin full of goodies, which if you know what's in that pumpkin, that's fine. And if you don't, then you're probably fine as well. But I've only painted one other Kingdom Death model before, that Valentine's pinup. I did the small version and the big version, and that had varying levels of success on them. So we'll see how this goes. It'll be my relaxation technique. Hey, look, there goes the pumpkin. And you can tell I need to glue it back and then God, it's so loud. And reprime some of the stuff here. But we'll see. These always test my painting abilities because they have so much flesh exposed for one thing, and you know, just details, and it's just a different kind of mini. Because I mean, if you look at the size difference between her and the Empire Reloader man, it's quite drastic. You know, Amazon fetish for him. Oh, hey lady, how's it going? You do not go on the spooky cruise with me. Go away. Oh. But anyway. All right. Well, if this one makes it onto the thing, then you know I just couldn't be bothered to re-tape everything. I'm going to turn this off and make the kids go do something other than shout while I am building models. All right, guys. I hope you guys are having a good day. Have a happy March. Hope your February was good. And I'll see y'all on the flip side. Adios.